Hi, I'm Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. Well, I've got a co-host this semester, and she's been on a previous show. And Monica, welcome back.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
and we've been talking about different topics to share with the public, and you decided to inform us on this movie package deal that a lot of people are talking about. So,
Right.
why don't you take it away?
I did. I wanted to discuss this just because, I mean, everyone goes to the movies. So,
Okay.
and I don't know if you've gone lately, but the prices are
Yes.
so high. And even the concessions, the movies, everything is so expensive now.
Right.
That it's kind of hard to get to the movies as often as you'd like to because of that. So I was looking into different ways where you can maybe save some money and still be able to go to see a movie. And I found the Movie Pass, basically. The Movie Pass is, you sign up for it, you pay it annually.
Okay.
It's $100 for the year.
Okay.
Okay, which that comes out to about $8, $9 for the month.
Okay.
You get a Movie Pass a day. So you get basically one ticket a day. So you can
So
go
you
to,
can go, if you had the time, you could go to a movie each day if there were that many
technically,
movies,
yes, you could.
right? All right.
You could watch the same one over again.
Okay. So but that's just for one individual, right?
One individual.
So if you, let's say you and your boyfriend, or
Okay.
me and my wife and my son, I would have to get 3 movie passes, right? Which would be
If you
then
need additional
300, right?
tickets, you would get they're at $9
Okay.
basically. So a little bit cheaper than the regular price of a ticket, but
All right.
but
Do
you
you
would get
have one?
them. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Actually, I was looking into this because I was thinking of getting one, but I wanted to kind of weigh out the benefits of that and a Cinemark app, which I'll discuss in a little while.
And do you know of anybody who in your family or friends that have this movie pass?
I
and
do.
their
A few
experience?
friends have it, and
Okay.
that's how I learned about it. Actually, a few friends had it. They told me about it. They like it a lot. I'm kind of still iffy about it, just because I think there's other things that may benefit more.
And is it accepted at every theater here in El Paso, or I've heard that, and weren't they going to drop like the membership fee or
They
something
did.
like that?
I read that recently. Actually, this past month, they dropped it to $7.95 a month.
Okay.
So it did drop. The only thing is with that is that last I heard there was only 3 participating movie theaters, but in researching
In
it,
El Paso.
yeah, but in researching it, it's actually all of the big theaters that are now participating in it.
But as of right now, it's only 3 in El Paso?
No, it used to be. Now it's actually most of them are.
Okay. Because I heard that some of the theaters were having some backlash, with MoviePass, that since they dropped the membership fee, that they were not going to be accepting that.
Well, see, the Movie Pass, they actually, for subscribers that go to the movies very often, if you were to go to the movies, let's say you got the Movie Pass, if you were to go more than 2 times out of the month, they're already losing money on you.
Right.
So I actually, from what I understand, if they have subscribers that go to the movies more than 2-3 times a month and they start losing money on you, they can actually offer you a different price. I would assume a higher price, because they're losing money on you, so they want to make up for that.
So I guess the theaters contract with MoviePass and they get a percentage?
Right.
Okay.
Another thing with that is, as opposed to, let's say, a Cinemark app, like I said, I'll discuss that in a bit, but as opposed to that, with the Movie Pass, you don't get concessions, discounts. You can't use it for, let's say, special screenings,
Right.
like 3D, IMAX. You can't use the Movie Pass for that. You cannot.
Maybe, can you use it like in the first week that the movie is being
No,
shown? Okay.
you
Or
can't.
the first 2 weeks?
No.
So you got to wait.
Yeah,
Okay.
you would have to wait. And you also can't, they don't roll over. So let's say if you don't use it one day, you can't,
Right.
you lose it, basically.
Either use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've also heard that a lot of people, I've read some negative reviews on this, that it's bad customer service. It's hard to reach them, and sometimes they are deducting the money out of your credit card, or or they're charging your credit card or out of your checking account, and you don't even get the pass.
Right, and I've heard a lot of things about that because when you do confirm your order,
Right.
basically within 2 weeks you're supposed to receive an email and you're supposed to receive
card.
the card. And I've heard that a lot of people have not been getting either of those.
Right.
So
And they're
it's-
still getting charged for it.
right, and it's kind of sketchy. It's really I don't really trust it completely right now.
Right.
But I've heard that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the people that you know that are using it, they've liked it so far.
So
and are
far,
they continue to
yes.
be subscribers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So far, the people that I've spoken to about that, the people that have let me know about it, they like it.
Okay. And honestly, let me ask you, if you had this, how often would you go to a movie?
I wouldn't go every day.
You wouldn't go every day? Okay.
No,
All
I don't
right.
think that's possible.
About how often do you think you would use it?
See, I was looking into it because normally we do go very often. I would say maybe once a week.
Once a week.
We go to the movies.
Okay.
So that's why I'm actually looking for better options as far as pricing.
Right. But then you and whoever you go with would need a movie pass
Right.
of their own,
Or
correct?
or I'd buy the additional ticket
Right.
for the $9. But
Okay.
either way, I mean it's maybe a savings of $1, $2
All
or
right.
so.
And how about so are you the type that needs to see the movies right away when they come out and so forth?
Not
The hype,
necessarily, but the people I go with are.
the people that you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't wait
Especially the Marvel movies.
until they go into the discount theaters. No.
No.
That's my favorite. I like
The
the
discount
theaters. Yeah. And it comes out cheaper.
Oh, it
comes
does.
out way cheaper.
It
yeah.
does. Yeah. I wouldn't argue with you
and,
there.
and now, it's like, I think there's a movie chain that is, you can't even sneak in stuff because they've disallowed.
They're checking bags now.
They're checking bags or they're disallowing big bags.
Right.
So they're only allowing a certain size of bags, and they're saying because for security purposes, for the security of the patrons, but I think also to cut down on a lot of the stuff that is being brought in from the outside.
Right.
And they're losing money on their concessions.
Yes.
Because that's really how they make money, is through the concessions.
It totally is.
Right.
Because those concessions they're very highly priced.
And so do you usually sneak in stuff? And
I can't comment that.
not gonna
I will
incriminate
tell
yourself?
you that I will tell you though that I've snuck in Wiener Schnitzel before.
You've snuck in Wiener Schnitzel. All right. And everybody's smelling is smelling what you brought in,
Yes.
correct? All right. So theater managers, be on the lookout for
I'm gonna be on the band.
you're
from
gonna be
the
your
theater.
picture's gonna be out everywhere. All right. So now tell me about this other one that you were talking about.
Okay, so I looked into the Cinemark app also,
Okay.
which you can use at any Cinemark theaters. That one is actually $8.99 a month.
Okay.
If you do need additional tickets, because it's for the one ticket.
Right.
If you do need additional tickets, it's another $8.99.
Okay.
But see, with this one, I didn't get any bad reviews on that. You do get discounts on concessions. You get 20%
Right.
off. Okay. They do roll over, and that's one ticket a month, basically.
One ticket a month.
One ticket
a month. Okay.
Right. Right.
All right.
So it's one ticket a month, and then
You
if
get
you don't
discounted.
use it, it rolls over.
What's a discount on the concessions?
20%,
20%. Okay.
which is a pretty okay, decent discount.
Okay.
Okay, and then like I said, they do roll over, but with this, you actually are accumulating points also.
Okay.
Every time you go, those points can be put towards, let's say, purchasing merchandise online. It's also for more discounts on concessions, because I saw you can get discounts on like popcorn.
And how many
drinks.
of these rewards do you need? Because sometimes you need like
Sometimes
a lot
it's
of
50
rewards.
points,
Okay.
sometimes it's 75, and every time you go, you're saving because you still have the lower prices on the tickets.
Also, a lot of theater chains, they have their own rewards card, which doesn't cost you anything, and every time you go, you can show them the card, or they
Right.
scan it in, or usually tied with your phone number, and you accumulate points, on concessions and everything, and sometimes you might get like a free popcorn or free nachos or
Right.
free large
Essentially
soft
the
drink.
same
Right.
idea. It's the same idea. Just with this, you get the free
So you
ticket
get
a month.
one
then.
free ticket per month.
Yes.
Is that worth it?
Well,
You're
as
paying
often as
you're
I
you're
go.
paying what, $8.95 a month, correct?
Right.
Okay.
As often as I go, the one ticket seems like nothing.
Right.
But I mean, with the additional tickets, you can still save on those also. My big thing with that is that you save on the concessions, and that's what kind of pushes me
But you
towards
you
that
don't think
one.
that the $8.95 per month you're paying is, will you be saving that much on the concessions or more? Instead, if you're saying what, 20% discount, so that $10 tub of popcorn is now going to cost you what, eight
Eight.
bucks, $2 less?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I just think it's better.
Okay.
I would think it'd be better. Considering you get, with the movie pass, you only get the ticket.
Right.
Basically, that's all you're getting is just one ticket a day. With the Cinemark app, you get a lot of other things in addition to just the one ticket a month.
Okay. And of course you can only use that at those theaters, correct?
Right, at
Which
the Cinemark
is
theaters.
that the one that has the most theaters here in El Paso?
I believe so.
Cinemark? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anything else that you came across?
No, I mean, that's basically it. I just feel that with the movie pass, I think the movie pass is good for people that go with a group of just one or two people.
Right.
Right. The
Because I think if you've got a family, paying $100, for each member to have a movie pass.
Right.
I mean, you'd really better go to the movies quite often.
Right. That's why, yeah, I think that'd be good for people in groups of one or two. But if you have a family, I would say maybe the Cinemark app would be more beneficial.
Well, I think if you have a family, the discount movie theaters are good. It's also good to go like really early, like the first showing.
the matinees are awesome.
No, but sometimes if you go like before noon, they're even discounted even more.
Oh, I know.
Right. Or like, for example, I think Carmike, if you go during certain hours, it's I think it's between 3:30 and 5:30. They have reduced ticket prices as well. And then some movie chains also have like $5 Tuesdays where you can go to you purchase a ticket for $5 or $5.75 or something like that. So that doesn't work for you?
It would.
Most people want to go in the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And with
at night.
Yeah, and with the group I normally go with, we like to go watch, it's basically the superhero Marvel stuff, and we like to watch them as soon
It
as
seems
they
like they come out with
yeah.
one every 3
Oh,
months. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah. Okay. So but do you find yourself taking advantage of these other deals, going during the off times?
Yes.
Or that doesn't work?
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, technically, I kind of would want to go when it's discounted.
Right.
On a Tuesday, I believe, is when they have most
Sure.
of the
And I
discounted.
think it's all day, and they even have discounted concessions.
Right.
So,
Right.
all right. Well, thank you for informing us on that, and we'll come back and talk more now. Since we're in tax season, we'll talk about tax refunds and what to do with it, and some myths about them on the second half of Making Sense. So stay tuned. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense. And Monica and I were talking about possible considerations to save on entertainment, especially with the movie pass. And you talked about the other pass that the theater chain has to offer, and taking in different suggestions, seeing if it's worth it for an individual. But it's like I don't even have time. We talked about cutting the cord in a previous show. I don't even have time to watch TV, except if it's my show, then I'll be there. I don't have time to even watch TV. It's like I don't think I could find the time to do a movie a day.
No.
I don't even think I could. And then you'd be seeing stuff that maybe you might not even want to watch.
Right.
So.
Which I'm okay with, because sometimes you watch something you don't want to watch and you end up...
And it's good.
Yeah.
It's
you
even
end
better
up
than
liking
those
it.
superhero movies.
Right.
Yeah. So now let's, we're in tax season, and a lot of people are getting their refunds in, and there's several myths about refunds. And one of the things I've talked to the audience on previous shows is that the whole thing is not to get a refund. We get excited if you know, you were talking about there's some individuals that you've seen that get how much?
Oh, I've heard up to 9,000.
Up to 9,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I know, you know, some who get like about 6,000. And the whole thing is that it's not to get that refund, because basically what you're doing is, if that's the way you're only going to save money, is basically you're letting the government use your money and they're not paying you any interest.
Right.
The whole thing is, for tax season, when you're doing your tax return, is to come out owing very little or getting very little back. And one of the things where you do that is through your W-4.
Right.
The one where you, and a lot of people don't update it on a yearly basis, and especially if you've gotten married or divorced especially, or now you can't claim a dependent, or you got a, you know, you had a birth in the family and now you can claim another dependent. We need to update that, because usually that's up to the taxpayers. That's what the taxpayer is supposed to do. It's not up to the employer. They're not going to come and remind you, hey,
Right.
do you need to update your W-4?
It's
That's
just
up
like
to
anything else.
That's up to you. And a lot of us don't do that.
Right.
And especially if you're going to get divorced, because now you're going from going married, which is a lower tax bracket, to single, which is a higher tax bracket. And if you don't plan that out, and you don't switch your W-4, you're going to be withheld too little, and you're going to wind up with a huge tax bill.
Right. Right.
So, you know, the myth is that we want that huge tax
Everybody
refund.
tries to get that. Yeah.
You know, do you think that's correct, or should you just rather be saving that money or adjust your W-4? There's a worksheet on that W-4, especially if you're eligible for these credits, such as the child tax credit or the earned income credit.
Right.
You can factor those in to your W-4, because you could put more allowances. Usually an allowance is a dependent, but an allowance can also be credits that you're getting. So what you would be, in essence, doing is getting a bigger paycheck
Right.
each time.
Right. And I'll be honest, I used to fall into that, where I wanted to
that
get the
myth?
bigger
Right.
paycheck.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants to get
Right.
that bigger paycheck. So I did used to fall into that.
That you wanted to get the big refund because you get all that money at once, which
Yeah.
you could be getting it out throughout the year.
Right. Right.
I think it's a myth.
I think it's just the lump sum
Yeah.
idea where
The
you
lump
get it
sum
all
idea.
at once.
And I think that's the myth that we live under, you know, and just like the myth that we should be financing a car for 5-7 years, you know.
Right.
Those are myths. You know, if you can pay it cash, pay it cash
Oh, yeah.
rather than finance it. And why do you want to finance a car for that long, and then you
Or
might
put
not
the
want
most
it?
down payment that you can
Right.
to, close that.
And a lot of people are buying, you know, $30,000-$40,000 cars. That's, you know, to me that's a little bit
It's crazy.
ridiculous. So, but I think the whole, you know, we're under that myth that receiving that big refund
Right.
is the key and is the way to go.
We just see-
When you should really adjust that W-4 to make it come out as close to zero as possible. And I always do that every year. One year, and I think I'm really proud of this, is I got $1 back. That's how close
Wow.
I went into that W-4 and estimated my tax.
Right.
You know, and almost at zero.
Wow.
Which is where you want to be. This year, you know, I think I'm gonna owe $33.
Right.
So almost
Okay.
close to zero.
Okay.
So, and that's the situation you want to be in.
Right.
Because I would rather have a bigger paycheck than have the, you know, even if you're not getting the earned income credit. But let's say we have an individual who has, and they're married and have several kids. Well, you know, they're getting maybe about $4,000 to $6,000 back.
Right.
But that could be a bigger paycheck each time they receive a paycheck,
Right.
instead of waiting for that amount to come in.
Right.
And maybe save some of that money, that extra money, and you could still have a lump sum to do whatever you want. Buy
Yeah.
an appliance, go on a vacation, whatever.
And that's a myth that a lot of people fall into as well, because even I did. Last year, my parents ended up being around that same amount,
Right.
owing very little. And here I thought it was.
And were they upset?
Yes.
Because they didn't get a refund, right?
Right. And here I thought it was bad, but it actually isn't.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's the way the taxing system is supposed
Right.
to work. But
Right.
I think with all the media and everything, talking about refunds and especially with the tax preparers and the tax preparation companies, we'll get you this big refund and all of that. And that's another myth, is that you also hear a lot of these tax preparation businesses or tax preparers guaranteeing you a big refund.
Right.
And I've seen individuals who they go, well, I think you're preparing my taxes wrong because so and so went over here and they got
Yeah, but
this
everyone's
refund.
situation is different.
And they can find you like additional deductions or credits or things like that. And there are some unethical tax preparers out
Right.
there. And you got to be careful of that and making sure that also that you choose somebody who knows what they're doing, who
Right.
are credentialed. And you can also go to the IRS website and check out it and see if they have any complaints against them. Because one way to get audited is that if there's a tax preparer who's prepared returns that are wrong, you'll probably get audited because they've already gotten red flagged by the IRS, and they're probably going to look at all the returns that individual or that firm prepared.
Oh, right.
So we got to be careful on who we choose that prepares
Right.
our taxes,
Right.
because I'm sure you've heard that. Well, go to so and so. They got me this biggest
The
refund.
smart
but-
thing to do would be to research the
Right.
preparer before you actually
and
do your
everybody's tax situation is different. Just because you received a $2,000 refund doesn't mean this other individual is going
Right.
to receive a $2,000 refund.
Right.
And each individual's tax situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
And also another thing that's happened is, and I'm sure you've heard of this, is people claiming individuals that
that are
are not theirs.
Oh, that happens
Dependents.
often.
Yeah, that happens often.
It does.
So especially with the earned income credit, which is one of the biggest misabused credits out there, and the IRS has cracked down on that, making sure that you're eligible to claim that individual as a proper dependent.
Right. It's borrowing a child season.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Borrowing a child season. Another thing is that that I've heard is where's my money? Where is my money? And a lot of people, they want to call the IRS. You're going to be on hold for quite
Oh, yes.
a while, but they can go onto the IRS.gov website, and there's a section that says where's my refund, and you can enter in specific details. You need to have your return with you. You need to enter in specific details to make sure that it's you, and they'll give you an idea whether it's still in process
Right.
or it's already been processed, and they'll give you an idea of when it'll show up into your bank account.
Right. And there are also myths about trying to get it quicker.
Yes.
Right.
There's
and
no way.
no way.
And that's also a myth that's out there with a lot of tax preparation firms that, and I'm not going to mention any names, but they do advance you the refund, but it's a loan.
Right.
They advance you a refund, so you're paying probably an additional finance fee and processing fee that they're going to get to keep,
Right.
so you can get that refund right now.
Right.
And then what'll happen is, and then they'll get paid when the refund
your
comes
refund
through
comes through.
from the IRS.
Right.
But if you're doing direct deposit, usually it's going to take about 14 to maybe 20 days. It's not going to be
Yeah.
that long.
Right.
So, but a lot of people, they need the money now, and so they're tempted to go and get a loan against that refund.
It's very tempting.
And the finance charges are just
Right.
incredible. I mean, it's almost like like those title loans on car titles, that the interest is really
Oh, it is.
up there just to get that money right now.
Right, right.
So, another thing that happens is that do is that do you know one way to prevent identity theft is to file early, because there's a lot of people that steal identities, and what will happen is that they'll file. And they could use some of your dependents, or they could even use your identity. And then when you go and try and file, they say that social security number has been used, has already been used. And so it's important to file early, even if you owe, because if you file electronically right now, at least the return is what? Filed.
Right.
But I have until April 15th to pay. So I don't have to pay when I electronically file. I can actually tell the IRS when is it that I want to pay us. I could pay maybe next month, but not later than what? April 15th. Because if I do pay later than April 15th, and I think this time we have until April 17th, because I think it falls on a weekend or something like that. But I can, because if I don't pay by then I will be charged penalty and interest.
Right.
Okay.
It gives you more time to pay it.
Right. But here's another thing that a lot of people don't know is, even if you owe money, it's best to file on time, because the failure to file penalty is much greater than the failure to pay interest and penalty. It's much lower. So, but if you don't do both, if you're afraid to file because you're going to owe money, it's going to be worse, because the failure to file penalty on time is going to be greater than the failure to pay on time.
Right.
So, well, we'll come back on another show and do more on taxes on the next episode of Making Sense. But I hope the audience enjoyed these topics we talked about, and we'll see you on another show, Monica, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon on another episode of Making Sense. Goodbye.